Hi, this is Rob Yates, and this is the video for Unit 5 homework number 4, Special Systems and Equal Values. Always remember to put your first and last name and what period you have math at the top of the page. Alright, number 1 says, solve each system of equations below and then verify your answers to explain how you know they are correct. The first one says y equals 2x plus 4, and the second one says y equals 2x minus 8. Well, if I set this up as a equal values problem, 2x plus 4 equals 2x minus 8. I add 8, and I get 2x plus 12 equals 2x. And I subtract 2x, and I get 12 equals 0, which is not possible. On closer inspection, we can look at this and we see that each of these equations has the same slope, but they have different y-intercepts. 4, negative 8. So if we were going to graph these, it would look something like this is our y-axis. Here's negative 8. Here's 4. And since they have the same slope, they are going to be parallel or equidistant and never intersect. Therefore, they have no solution. They're parallel lines. So our answer to A is that, no solution. There is no two numbers that will make both those equations true. All right, let's take a look at B. It says 2x plus 4y equals 8 and y equals negative x plus 2. Well, the first thing I need to do is put both of these in the y equals mx plus b form. So if I bring down my top equation, 2x plus 4y equals 8, and I subtract 2x from each side, I get 4y equals negative 2x plus 8. I'm almost done, but I need to have this in the 1y equals mx plus b form. So I divide by 4, the number in front of the variable, and I get y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2. If I look at this equation, I can see that it's the same as this one right here. Y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2. So it's the same line. They're on top of one another. So the answer to this is all solutions or infinite solutions. C and D are fairly regular. You get a little bit of unwhole numbers, in other words, fractions or decimals for C, but you should be able to answer them using equal values. Let's take a look at 2 now. If we scroll down to 2, we see that it says a triangle has a perimeter of 12.35 centimeters. Side 3 is 2.5 centimeters shorter than twice side number 1, and that side 2 is 1.5 times longer than side 3. A says define the variable, or the let statement. B says write the equation that models the situation. And C says find the length of each side of the triangle. Well, our let statement is going to be something like let x equal side 1. And if x is side 1, what it says up here is that side 3 is 2.5 centimeters shorter than twice side number 1. Twice side number 1 is 2x. 2.5 centimeters shorter means 2x minus 2.5, which is going to be side 3. Now, finally, it says side 2 is 1.5 times longer than side 3. So here's my 1.5 times 2x minus 2.5 equals side 2. So we have defined our sides. There are 3 in a triangle, and that means if we add them all together, that x plus 2x minus 2.5 plus 1.5 times 2x minus 2.5 equals 12.35. Well, the first thing I need to do is sort this out by using the distributive property for my side 2. So 1.5 times 2x is 3x, and 1.5 times negative 2.5, it'd be negative 3.75. Everything still equals 12.35, and I still have an x and a 2x minus 2.5. Now I need to count up my x's. I have got 1, 3, 6 total x's. So I have got 6x, negative 2.5 and negative 3.75 add up to minus 6.25. Now all that equals 12.35. Well, if I add 6.25 to each side, I get 6x equals 18.6. I divide by 6, and I get x equals 3.1, which means that side 1 equals 3.1. Side 3 is 2 times 3.1 minus 2.5. If you plug that into your calculator, what you'll end up with is 3.7. And finally, side 2 is 3x minus 3.75, as we decided earlier, which if you plug that into your calculator, you get 5.55. And if I add up 3.1, 3.4, and 5.55, I get 12.35. Exactly what I'm supposed to get. That is my verification. 3.1 plus 3.4, that's a plus, plus 5.55 equals 12.35. All right, let's take a look at the system here. Number 3. Number 3 says that the graph for the system of equations is shown below, and A says simply, hey, estimate the solution. Looking at the graph. If I look over here, it's about right there, which is about I would have to say 3 is x and 5 is y. And it says write an equation for each line. This could be a little tough because we've got some unusual slopes here. So let's take a look at this first one here. Remember, I'm going to skip down to the space for C to show this to you. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is my formula for slope. And y2 is 0. y1 is, as we see, 15 over x, which is 4.5, minus 0. Well, that's equal to negative 15 over 4.5, or if we're going to use a decimal point, negative 3.33. So, my first equation is y equals negative 3.33x plus 15. All right, let's take a look at the second one. y2 is 35 divided by 3, which is the same as 11.66 minus negative 15 over 4 minus 0. All this equals 26.66 over 4, or 6.66. So, my second equation is y equals 6.66x minus 15. Okay, I'm going to erase my calculations for the slope so I have room to do my algebra for my equal values. All right, as we know, equal values simply says I have to make these two equations here and here equal to one another and then solve for x and then plug that back in for y. So I would get something like negative 3.33x plus 15 equals 6.66x minus 15. Well, I have more x's on the right, more numbers on the left, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my numbers on the left and my x's on the right. Plus 1, 5, plus 1, 5. What I get, that's not a very pretty 15, is it? Is negative 3.33x plus 30 equals 6.66x. And then to get this x over on the other side, I add 3.33x. 30 equals 10x. I divide by 10. X equals 3. Now, to solve for y, I just plug it into one of these. So, for instance, 6.66 x times 3 is 20.5 0, 0, 0, 1. I'm just going to make it 20. So y equals 20 minus 15. Y equals 5. So you can see 3 and 5, my answer is exactly the same as my estimate for A. And my estimate was correct. So for D, I would put yes. Equal values showed the intersection was the solution. All right. Let's take a look at page 2. All right. Number 4 says a barn has chickens and pigs. What barn doesn't? There are 15 animals in total, and altogether there are 46 legs. How many of each type of animal are there? So important figures are 15 animals and 46 legs. A says let P be the number of pigs and let C equal the number of chickens, and then write the systems of equations that represents the situation. So we know that the total number of pigs plus the total number of chickens equals 15 animals. It says that right there. We also know that pigs have 4 legs and that chickens have 2. And if we multiplied the number of pigs times 4, so 4p, plus the number of chickens times 2, 2c, we should get a total of 46 legs. So, I need to solve this equation, and the first thing I need to do is I'm going to take my p plus c equation, and I'm going to subtract c from each side. And I would get p equals 15 minus c. And I'm going to take this, 15 minus c, and I'm going to plug it in right here. And what I would get is 4 times 15 minus c plus 2c equals 46. Well, everybody knows that 4 times 15 is 60. What I'm doing now is the distributive property. 4 times 15 is 16. And then 4 times negative c is minus 4c. Then I bring down my 2c. It's still all equal to 46. I'm going to combine my like terms. And what I get is that 60 minus 2c equals 46. I'm going to have to skip down here a little bit, but basically I subtract 60 from each side, and I get negative 2c equals negative 14. I divide by negative 2, and I get c equals 7. So if c equals 7, p equals 15 minus 7, or 8. So p equals 8, c equals 7. It says graph the system on the coordinate plane below. What does the solution for the system represent in the context of the problem? Well, I knew that P equals 15 minus C. So that means I start at 15 and I go down 1 over 1 because my slope is -1. Something like that. This is my first line. Now, my other problem, which is 4p plus 2c equals 46, I have to put into the p equals. So I subtract c from each side. Excuse me, that's 2c. So I subtract 2c from each side. And I get 4p equals -2c plus 46. I divide everything by 4. And I get p equals -1/2 c, which is the same as -2 over 4, it's just reduced, plus 11.5. So if I find 11.5 on my y-axis, I'm about right there. And I'm going down 1 over 2. 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 So something like this. Oh, I messed up. I'm sorry about that. It needs to actually be, I put that at 10.5. So where I want to be is up here at 11.5. Down 1 over 2. 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 So here's my line. And we can see that right there, seven, 8 CP is the solution. These are your diamond pattern solutions. Remember, here is your pattern. X plus y, left and right, is the bottom number. X times y is the top number. So, for instance, on number 1, I know that if -3 is the product and 2 is the sum, the factors of -3 has to be one negative and one positive. So, if I use -1 and 3, they added up together are 2. Those are my answers, -1 and 3. Same thing's true over here. If I have a negative product, that means one of my factors is positive and one of them is negative, because a negative times a negative would be positive. So what two factors of 10, negative and positive, would add up to -3? 1 and 10 does not work. 2 times 5, if it was -2 and 5, it would be +3, but if it was +2 and -5, that would add up to -3, and it would multiply out to -10. I'll leave you to do the other two. On number 6, we have to remember that a negative times a negative is a positive, as well as a positive times a positive. That is what they're talking about when they say there's more than one answer for x. So for instance, to solve a, I would add 1 to each side, and I get 1 equals 4x squared. Divide by 4, and I would get 0.25 equals x squared. So that means that the square root of 0.25 equals x. That's 0.5 equals x. But since negative 0.5 times negative 0.5 also equals 0.25, we would say plus or minus 0.5 equals x. Sorry, that's not a very pretty x. The same is true over here for b. What's the square root of 169? That number, positive or negative, is your answer for x. For 7, you are popping in these numbers to get the following function's correct answer. For instance, on a, you would say 4 times negative 1 squared minus 1. Well, negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. 4 times 1 is 4, minus 1 is 3. There's my answer. Do the same for B and C, and you should be in good shape. If you have any questions, please see your math teacher. Always remember that there are tutors in the library before and after school. Good luck, and I'll see you in algebra tomorrow.